For analysis on this, we're now joined by Elton Romeo Hart. He's an attorney at the University of Johannesburg's Law Clinics, and he joins us via our video link. Elton, always a pleasure talking to you here on SABC News. Let's start off here. What is your take when it comes to the outcomes of the murder case of Sifiso Mkhwanazi?
For me, I expected that verdict to be found guilty because that case was a slam dunk for the state. The state did not have to work hard in that case because the evidence that was collected was just damning against the accused person. And even on his own version, he sort of placed him on the scene. He even admitted that he killed the deceased. So that was already a slam dunk. They just had to work to try and show that maybe his actions was premeditated, that he had a premeditated plan to actually commit these heinous crimes. For me, that was an expected result. I didn't expect anything less. And if that one went south, I would have blamed the prosecutors for not doing their job. But luckily, everything as per the evidence, it's there. And it shouldn't have been any other way.
And Elton, for me, something quite bizarre that was quite striking, especially listening to the judge. And obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so would want you to give us your analysis on this. And the judge there saying, or the magistrate saying there, that, he has to go for a psychiatric evaluation first before sentencing proceedings. And was this not meant to take place before the trial? Why are we only seeing this now?
Now, this is also a strange phenomenon that the judge actually asked that the convicted person be sent for a psychiatric evaluation to see if he or she is not a danger to possibly the other inmates that he will be housed with. Normally what happens in criminal proceedings is at the commencement of a matter, before the matter actually goes on to trial, in terms of section 77, 78 and 79, they will then send you for a 30-day evaluation to see if you are fit to stand trial and you comprehend the wrongfulness of your actions. That's how the law normally works. But here, maybe the judge sees something, but even so, if you find, okay, this person will be a danger to other inmates with whom he might be housed, what are you going to do? Because you can't say I'm going to send him to a psychiatric ward for nurses to look after him, because he might just do something to them as well, because he's a danger. Are you going to say now he must be staying in solitary confinement for I don't know how many years, because I'm surely he's getting a couple of life sentences out of these verdicts. So that also would go against the Constitution to say it's inhumane treatment. So what is the point of actually getting the psychiatric evaluation? It's not clear, because it will not influence how you sentence the person. It will also not influence where you have to send him, because he must go to jail. You can't send him if he's a danger to these hospital sections within a prison, because there he can actually harm people because he's in isolation. He can even do weirder and wonderful things there. So I don't see the reason why the judge is on this path.
Yeah. And, can this actually impact the case going forward, especially in mitigation of sentence? Can this be brought up and the judge be questioned, for his move here to only have the psychiatric evaluation only done now and for sentencing proceedings?
Obviously, the High Court, and this is a High Court sitting, looking at the High Courts and the judges sitting in the High Courts, the court by its nature gives to the process that inherent powers the judges have to actually direct what they want to do. Yes, it may influence what type of sentence the judge will give, but I mean already I think there was he found him guilty of the murders and also the rapes. So, and it says that these actions was premeditated. So yeah, it's like life sentences. It's on the cards. Minimum sentences on the cards for him. So you can't say now, listen here, I want to consider it, because the act is pretty much clear as to what type of sentence you're going to give him. And how you're going to actually now sort of give the correctional facilities an extra burden as to how they need to house, because they have correctional services has their own policies and procedures. How once you are convicted and sentenced, you become the property of correctional services. Then the judge becomes functus officio. He can't say now, listen here, you have to keep him in this way and keep him in this way based on the psychiatric evaluation. So I think that the judge might be overstretching his powers there, although they might have these inherent powers. But I want to see what the end game is with the psychiatric, because this is something very rare in our criminal procedure system.
And do you think that, this may have an impact on the type of sentence that he gets?
Maybe, and that's a very, 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 you can hear I'm very hesitant in that, maybe, because the act is clear. When you are found guilty of this premeditated murder and rapes, you facing minimum sentences. It might be, and this is not like one can say it was one rape and a murder that was committed simultaneously. So the one emanates from the other. There's like I raped you, and because I'm afraid you might talk, I killed you. This is like a series of events. You can't even say that this person showed remorse or this person, because it seems like it's a habit. It's something in him.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I don't see that it should be impacting the actual. And yes, our justice system is built in a way to say that we want to actually sort of have restore and rejuvenate people that goes into the system to get out better persons. But sometimes that rehabilitation is not possible.
Yeah.
And I don't see how this thing is going to help him actually come to a easier verdict. Maybe he might give life sentence and say they run concurrently. That will still give you like 28 years, give or take, that you have to be somewhere being locked up. And then if you on good behavior, you might get parole after maybe 15, 16, 17 years, give or take, given you've done all the programs.
Yeah, and Mr. Hart, as he goes or undergoes a psychiatric evaluation, and we await the sentencing proceedings, what type of sentencing can we expect for the crimes he has committed?
No, at least like I think there were 6 murders with 6 rapes. So at least the act is clear, like 15 years per event. 15 years per event. So now you have to look at, okay, when he actually raped somebody, then he goes on to actually do something worse than the rape, already taking a person's dignity and their humanity away from. Now you're actually taking their life. So that, for me, is already like a offense punishable by a life sentence or maybe 25 years, somewhere in that vicinity. Now, if you do it a second time, you're already now kicking another life. A third time, it should be a life. 4th time, so I would expect maybe you might get 3 to 4 life sentences here, give or take.
All right, Mr. Hart, thank you so much for your time here on SABC News. That is Elton Romeo Hart. He's an attorney at the University of Johannesburg's Law Clinic, just giving us his insight there when it comes to that case, in particular of Sifiso Mkhwanazi, who has been found guilty by the judge.